Mm.
Alright, Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. Playing some Hunter Primal. I have a bird here. It was harassing me a little bit. Let me just make sure the stream is good. Should be. But you never know. I'm gonna go over here to this settlement first, since I'm not too far. Let me just check the stream, make sure I can hear myself. Oh, look, a rainbow. Gotta be careful taking screenshots, otherwise the game will crash. Alright, so my voice is pretty loud. I'll try not to talk. Well, I don't know, there's not much I could do. Oh, look at that. Seems like when I log off, where'd this bird go? He left, huh? Ooh, a double rainbow almost. You can see two. That's quite interesting. I wonder if they use some kind of mathematical algorithm to determine when the rainbow appears based on, you know, clouds, the level and the rain and whatnot. 'Cause it's got like two rainbows there. And that does happen in real life, actually. Quite interesting. I know I'm streaming on the wrong day. I just wanted to get, you know, get the other stuff done on Skyrim. I wanted to get that quest done. Which I did successfully, so that was good. Ooh, that looks like a special. This one here looks like a special. I think that's a special. That's an uncommon. Okay. Oh, this is Site B. I thought this was the other place. I thought this was the Great Egg, but it's not. That's okay though. Should get some activity over here. Let me see if this thing is showing private. I think for some reason this thing is not. No, this one is public. Interesting. Hold on a sec. Okay, good. Think I got it. Everything going here right now. Alright, we're good to go. Got everything set okay. Anyway, thank you everybody for, just want to say thanks everybody for supporting my channel. I know I'm not that popular. Just started this as a hobby to kind of document my own gameplay. Mainly because, you know, for what, 15 years before I started my channel, I don't know when I officially made this channel, but um, you know, I was playing games, like lots and lots of gaming. You know, I didn't realize like YouTube, I didn't really know much about YouTube. You know, I was late to the social media, you know, situation or whatever. So I didn't really know much about any of it. I'm still kind of in the dark about a lot of stuff. You know, like I still really don't know how to do my Discord properly. My Patreon is probably just a mess. You know, the only thing that I managed to really focus on was editing my videos and live streaming. That's about it. So nonetheless, though, you know, I did get some subscribers, surprisingly, and that's all thanks to you. You know, I'm just happy that people can enjoy what I enjoy, you know. So that's pretty much it. My kids like to watch, you know, my videos sometimes. So as long as YouTube doesn't erase my videos, I have a nice archive, you know. I hope that if they start to change the YouTube channel into something different, you know, because eventually, I don't know. I guess they make money off revenue, but, you know, how long can it stay free, you know? I mean, if it stays free forever, then that's wonderful, you know? I mean, I don't like the fact that they're kind of picking political sides. That's not real cool. That's definitely not something social media should not be doing. But that's a whole nother conversation, which I will not get into right now. I'm just happy that I can stream and that I've made some friends along the way. You know, because I'm not really like a person who gets out much. You know, I gotta be home looking after the kids. And I was never really the social type anyway. I mean, I know I can talk a lot on here, but, you know, that's mainly because you guys usually talk to me first, you know. Even though I am speaking right now, you know, I do have things to say sometimes. But I guess it's much easier to talk to a audience that doesn't talk back. Right? You talk to the camera. That's easy. You know, now I know. I always thought reporters, you know, were nervous, like when they got in front of a camera. But actually, I think it's the opposite. I think it's easy to talk to a camera. You know, when there's like no one there to threaten you or to counter what you're saying. So I understand how easy it is for these particular media groups to push a narrative or agenda. Because how can you really speak back? You know, the only way to do it is YouTube or Twitter. So it's kind of, you know, I don't think reporters had much of a problem. Because it's, you know, I don't have any problem talking. in front of a camera. And you shouldn't either. I think you'll find it to be very easy. So if you have a knack for, you know, being creative and putting out some good quality content, not just this kind of crazy riffraff. That's not even a word people use now. You know, just, I don't know. There's a lot of like YouTube channels that are popular, but I don't like them. Maybe it's because I'm not a kid. And no offense against kids, I'm just saying. Kids think differently than adults. That's just a fact. I just don't take any pleasure in like a channel that's like has okay content, but they're just constantly cursing. I mean, and like swearing, and it's like I don't really understand that too much, and I don't relate to that, you know. You know, to me, it's like you don't need the curse to be popular, you know. I mean, there's a lot of channels out there that can cater to a general audience. Not necessarily all kids, per se, but, you know. But I guess they don't care. I guess they're making enough. I guess they get enough hits where they don't care. They are who they are. And, you know, I have to respect that, even if I disagree with it. That's the difference between some people and others. I'll just say that. I don't believe in canceling someone just because I disagree with them. Or ruining their life. There was something on Steam that I saw, which kind of was, you know, a little disturbing at first. I'm only bringing this up for your opinion. But there's a game, I forget the name of the game, but the name basically was like, kill all anti-lockdown protesters, or something like that. Kill all anti-COVID-19 lockdown protesters. Okay. Now, the reason why I found that disturbing, like, I don't have a problem with like games say, oh, kill this, kill that, you know, whatever, they're games, right? But I think it goes a little bit too far when you're using a group that exists today, like, that isn't even being harmful. You know what I'm saying? They're just practicing their rights, you know, practicing the rights that they have. I mean, there's nothing illegal about protesting the lockdown. Nothing at all. You know? So, the Black Lives Matters people went out and protested. They were all clustered together, you know, potentially, quote unquote, spreading the virus. Now, what if somebody made a game that was called Kill All Black Lives Matter Protests? Testers who went out during the COVID-19 social distancing. I mean, imagine if somebody made a game called that. Like, how fast do you think that would be taken down? But when it comes to, and you know, I'm just going to be honest here. You know, when it comes to anything conservative, it's okay to threaten violence. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to encourage violence. It's okay to encourage canceling. It's okay to encourage attacking. But any leftist group, whether it be Black Lives Matter, and they are, maybe not the individuals within the group, but the movement itself is a Marxist movement. Okay, they've admitted that, and we've known that for a while now. So, and just to let everyone know, Marx was white. So Black Lives Matters, but we're always going to follow white ideology in our movement. Now, I'm not saying you have to hate white people. I don't think that that's smart at all to even encourage that kind of behavior. Because remember, it was white people who came forward, Christians, in the early 1800s, and were saying, hey, slavery's not good. It's against the Bible, you know, and everyone needs to be free. So it was white people who were the first advocates for the abolishment of slavery in America. Okay? And another thing that people also fail to realize is the United States did not become its own country until after the Revolutionary War. And the only reason that it became a country was to fight against England. Okay? So you can't say America, you can't blame the United States itself for things that happened before it became even a country, because each colony was its own independent colony. Okay? As if they were separate countries. So this is what's kind of weird when I hear this like false history going around. I'm like, do people not just do simple research like into our history? It's really weird, like how people just accept whatever. It's like, I don't get it. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up the game on Steam, that's all, just to see what your opinions were. Like, is it okay to have a game that says, kill all anti-lockdown protesters, like COVID-19 lockdown protesters? Is that game okay to have? Because what if a Black Lives Matter game was made to kill all Black Lives Matter protesters who were out there during COVID-19? So I you know, it's just kind of weird. Because I don't think that they would allow that game to stay on Steam if it was Black Lives Matter. You know, and I was tempted to contact Steam about it. But I put the game on my ignore list, so it's whenever I do a search now, it's hard. I don't know the exact name, so I forgot it. So I couldn't find it again. But you know, that it's one thing to say we want to kill terrorists, right? Because terrorists, we know, kill people. Like directly. They kill their own people. It's not even just like Westerners or whoever, you know, they were targeting before. They would blow up their own people. So, you know, to say we're going after terrorists is quite different than saying we're going after peaceful protesters who never started any riots. You know, so that's still going on today. So to me, that game is propaganda. That's inciting violence on groups that are actually out there today, you know, protesting peacefully. And that's where I think the line should be drawn. You know, it's one thing to like have a game where you're fighting against Nazis or communists or terrorists, because we see that they're bad things, they're bad systems, they're evil systems. So that's like saying, making a game saying kill all Christians because they have a white Jesus. I mean, that's just kind of, you know, like, okay, you're going a little too far there. Hey, Herkel. That's another argument that I don't understand. Like, it doesn't really matter whether you want to see Jesus as white or brown skinned. Because number one, he's a representative of the Godhead. So the Bible says that God is light, which is white, and he has white hair. So I mean, you can argue all you want that Jesus was from the Middle East and he might have had brown skin, but he was a Jew. He wasn't black. He wasn't Indian. He wasn't Chinese. He was a Jew. So, you know, what are you going to say? You hate Jews and then you're complaining about Jesus being white? Like he should be black or whatever? That's like, it's so contradictory. Like, it's weird. Like, it's like cuckoo, you know? The arguments are irrelevant when it comes to religion, you know? And that's true. Jesus might be depicted as white because of Europe, right? They were white. Well, not all of them. Even in Europe, people weren't all white, but that's another argument. But the Catholic Church dominated Europe for 1260 years, you know? So in their mind, when they saw Jesus, he was white. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with, like, having your own picture of Jesus or God, you know, like, as long as you're depicting his character properly. You know, if you say God is just a tyrant, mean a God who just kills everything, well, that would be a misrepresentation. You know, but when it comes to, because obviously he died for our sins, so he's a loving God, he proved that. So, but the fact that he's white or brown, I don't think that really matters much. In fact, our church, the church that I belong to, they actually kind of changed the look of Jesus in some of their depiction of him because to make him look more Middle Eastern, you know. And in some cases, he kind of looks more like light-skinned Indian. So not all depictions of Jesus are white, even from white people, you know, because our church, you could say, is, I don't know, probably predominantly black, or predominantly white, sorry, in the North America, but we have a lot of Hispanics. We have a good, large black population as well. You know, our church is quite mixed, you know, nowadays. There's no racial divide in Christianity, so don't believe that nonsense. I mean, my church, I can tell you right now, right off the bat, at least of who I know, and I don't know everyone personally in my church, you know, but I you know, see them and know of them and say hi, you know, we're just kind of acquaintances. I'm not very sociable anyway, so I kind of only know certain people very well. But we have we have Puerto Rican, we have Latino, we have Mexican, we have people from the Caribbean. I'm not sure which countries, but there's at least a few people from the Caribbean area. We have several people from Africa that came from Africa itself. White people. Our pastor is Romanian. We have African American. I mean, we're not a charismatic church either. Some super church, you know, like you see those big churches out there, you know, and we don't live in the city. So it's really, don't believe it when people say that Christianity is racist. That's just horrible to even say that. It's so stupid. Right. Well, right, but Jesus, you could say Jesus had brown skin. That's true because he might have been out in the um, sun a lot. So that's the argument that I bring up, right? So um, my wife is Asian. She's from the South Pacific. She's not from China, right? Because you can have northern Chinese that are white, like white all year, because they're in the cold area. Um, Same thing with northern Japan. Japanese people are not brown normally. They're white, light-skinned, you know? So my wife, if you go to the Philippines, you know, they get really dark, man, when they're out in the sun. Like really dark. So you could say they're brown people, right? But in the wintertime, my wife is nearly as white as me, you know, if not as white as me. In fact, I have olive skin because I'm Italian. So I'm actually darker than her in the wintertime, right? And I'm considered white. Now you can't see through the camera that I have a tan. I have a dark tan right now. I'm very, very brown. But the light, I don't know, the camera just makes it look like, I don't know, I'm more white. So, you know, so when you say there's brown people, black people, white people, well, you have to be careful about the brown people part. Because my argument is most people in the world are actually Caucasian. Okay? Not black or what we would call brown people, right? So, like people in South America, they're brown. Why? Because they're out in the sun. They work in the farms. You know, they do all this outdoor stuff. Now, the ones that stay in the house who don't want to be in the sun, who don't want to look brown because it's, you know, there is racism against having brown skin in a lot of these poor countries. Why? Because, and I don't know about racism. My wife is not racist, but she doesn't want to be brown either, right? Because she's a very nice person, very kind. She's very, very kind and giving. And I don't want to speak for her, so take this with a grain of salt. But, you know, she doesn't want to be looked at as like a low person in society, right? A poor person. So she always wanted to stay out of the sun, right? Because the people who were out working in the farms all the time, and she did as a kid, so she knows how hard it is. They get really dark, you know, because they're out in the sun. So that automatically shows the people who have money that you're one of the poor people who work in the fields, you know. Right, right. Well, my sister was with a Mexican guy. She's white or Caucasian, right? So this is the false narrative that goes around that there's systemic racism everywhere. Like I'm married to an Asian. My sister was with a Mexican guy who she had a kid with. I mean, it's like, and we're, you know, I'm a conservative now. I'm not, you know, I changed from Democrat to conservative this year, but and my wife is a conservative, or my sister is a conservative now. She used to be a Democrat, but now she's a conservative. You know, so just saying that there's so much racism around here when you have so many mixed couples who are white with a black, or white with an Asian, or white with a Mexican, or white with a Puerto Rican, it's just so stupid. You know, it's crazy. You know, it boggles my mind. The media has just been spreading so many lies about people like me. I'm not prejudiced. You know, I mean, that's so stupid. Like, and that's one of the reasons that I left the Democrat Party. I mean, for other reasons too, because I did research and found out that there were, not telling the truth for the past 30 years. But anyway, that's another story. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, it's like all this racism stuff is stupid. We should just love one another, and that's it. But like I said, my church is like, my church is a melting pot. I mean, it couldn't get more diverse. So to say that Christianity is racist is just wrong. That's a lie. I mean, that's a that's a sore lie. What we used to call a sore lie, like so far from the truth that it shouldn't even be said. Conservative. I think so. I didn't sleep very much, because I was up playing that game, playing the Elder Scrolls last night. Did you? You should check that out later. I finished the Marisi quest, and I was real nice to her, even though she said some mean things to me. But whatever. She was traumatized, so I guess she has a right to. So now I saved her friend along out of the dungeon as well, or whatever you want to call that place. And I said, you really don't have anywhere to go. You want to, you can, whatever, join with me or whatever I said. And she goes, oh, yes, I would make a great maid. I've done that kind of work before. So she's basically my housekeeper. So I had to go out, buy a house, and build it. And now Marisi has a home, and her friend has a home. I forget her name. And now I have a place I can keep my followers if I want to find them. So it's pretty cool. So now I just have to get a even bigger house because, having 7-8 people in my little house is pretty overwhelming. So I have to figure out how to get a bigger house. I guess I have to go to a different city or something. I was kind of hoping after I built my house that they were going to say, all right, do you want to make your house bigger? Or buy some more property? I hate when they go all fast like that. Got him, there's the blood. Sucker. Huh. No T-Rex around, huh? Well, I don't believe in evolution. There's no facts to back that up. A theory is not fact. So, I hear what you're saying. I know that's what you're taught. That's what I was taught. I only go by what the Bible says historically, and that was that the focal point has always been in the region of Israel, Canaan, parts of Iraq, that general area, Egypt. So that's probably where the Garden of Eden was, somewhere in that area. Because it mentions the rivers, the Euphrates and, the other 3 rivers. So I have no problem with saying, hey, they might have been tan skin. Even biblically, you could probably say that's probably true. Well, yeah, I don't know if we have any like hard evidence of that, but again, I don't see why not, right? Because um, we know that they had it in their genes, right? So that's for sure. Because we know how genes work now. Like genes don't evolve. Like we humans have everything in our genes already. So what we know factually, not theoretically from false evolution, is that genes get switched on and they get switched off, right? So if a set of genes is switched on, that will give you, a medium tan skin, then that's what you'll have. Or some genes will get switched off, right? The melanin genes, for instance, that tell your cells to produce melanin, gets shut off, then you're going to have really pale skin, right? So, and then if you have other genes that are turned on that tell the body to create melanin, but not just melanin, but also create different pigment colors, then you're going to have, red-skinned people, very dark black-skinned people, very dark brown people, because there's even different, like, contrast of color, that we have. So, really, you can't join? Crap. I'm not on OBS. Alright, let me get off the stream, and then I'll restart the stream. After I get these Utah. Sneaking up on me, huh? Sneaky birds. Ooh, look at that. That's a heavy. Not a heavy weight, but pretty heavy. 915 for a score on that one. I think the heavyweight Quetzal is 925 is the weight, I think. Thought I saw another one. Elder Scrolls? I don't think so. I won't have the time tonight to get on Elder Scrolls. I might stream that again tomorrow night. If my wife decides to camp outside with the kids. Otherwise, I probably won't get on Elder Scrolls again till either Sunday night or Monday night. Let me get somewhere. I was waiting for this Utah. so he doesn't attack me while I'm logging off. Alright, let me get over here in the woods. Alright, actually I might be able to keep this going. Let me exit the main menu. I'll try to connect again and we'll see what happens. Alright, let me try to invite. Where are you, Alvin? I don't know if inviting works though. What's your name in Steam again? I'm sorry, my migraines, they just mess up my memory so much. Where? Oh, Hanson, right, okay. That's right. Sorry about that. Alright, I sent you. I don't think inviting works with this game. Because it's an open server. If you can't join it just being open, then that means something's wrong. Let me just, I'm just going to log off here, exit the main menu, and see if I can start another server. I may have to, like, shut down the game totally. Well, actually, well, men were created first because they were made after God's image. So, and then, you know, when God saw that Adam was kind of looking at the animals who all had mates, he figured he'll make a help mate. Okay, a lot of people don't understand what help mate means. It didn't mean a helper. It didn't mean a maid. And God took a rib from Adam. He didn't make Eve separately. Okay? He took a rib from Adam and formed her, around that aspect. So where's the rib? Or I'm talking to the laptop. So the rib is at the side, right? So what does that mean? When he joined the two in marriage, they were joined where? You ever hear the term joined at the hip? Is Adam up here and she down here? Or is Adam here and Eve here in marriage? Okay? They're equal. Lilith. No, don't believe that nonsense. Lilith. There's no Lilith. You go by what the Bible says, not what other books say. Or I should say, go by what the Bible says and not what other uninspired books say. There is no mention of Adam ever having another wife. If you look at all the genealogies, it never says anything about him having another wife. You got to go by the King James version of the Bible. That would be the most accurate. You have to look at what books, what Bibles came from what transcripts. And just because a transcript is supposedly older, like some of the Catholic ones, right, doesn't mean that they're the ones that are accurate or correct. And the Dead Sea Scrolls kind of proved that the King James Version is actually quite accurate. If you're going to believe in the Bible, you have to believe in the Bible and the Bible alone and what it says. God says in the New Testament that whoever follows him have to live by faith. They have to follow him by faith. In other words, what he says, you have to believe. That's what he wants from us. Not speculation, not somebody's take on what the Bible says. Now I'm not trying to be preachy here. I'm just stating facts. Facts are facts, whether I like them or not like them. Well, the King James version is the one. If you're gonna trust any of them, trust that one. All the newer Bibles were based on other transcripts, or they were written to support a particular religion, right? So, okay, what's going on here? Yeah, got you that time. Like, for instance, the Jehovah's Witness, right? Let's pick on them. They don't really believe in the divinity of Christ. So if you look in their Bible, all the parts that talk about Christ's divinity are either changed or totally deleted. Well, the Hebrew Bible, yes, the Hebrew Bible might be okay. I don't know. I had one before, and I tried to follow it. It's a little hard to follow because when the English is translated, right, the words are all kind of like jumbled up because that's how they speak. They don't speak the way we speak, So you can and that and a Hebrew Bible would only be relevant to the Torah, or what we call the Old Testament. You know, you have to bring the New Testament into the picture because that was the fulfillment of the ministry of Christ through the temple services, right? Jesus came here and fulfilled the rituals that the Jews did for many thousands or a couple thousand years in the sacrificial system. So you can't throw out the New Testament without throwing out the Old Testament, right? So because if you say the New Testament's no good, then you're not a Christian anymore, and you're still under the old system. So you have no redemption, no salvation. So the New Testament's very clear about you can only be saved through Jesus Christ. You can only come to the Father through Jesus Christ. So the Israelites, when they were sacrificing the lambs in the morning and the evening, the lamb represented Christ, the coming Messiah, and that was acceptable to God because they were acknowledging the coming Messiah, right, before he came. But the sacrifices themselves did not save the Israelites. This is the one thing that people get wrong, right? Is that somehow the sacrifices of the lamb were erasing their sins. When that's not true. Got a Rex coming up on me. Because in the Old Testament, God is complaining about the people sinning, and they just bring their lambs to the priest, and then they think they're going to be forgiven. And God actually comes out and says, I believe it's in Isaiah, but it could be one of the other books, that he doesn't want any more sacrifices from them. Because there's no repentance. So he says the sacrifices then become an abomination because they're just using them as a formality, right? It's almost like the Catholic faith, right? You go out and have a sinful week, then you go to Mass, and then you go to confession, and you're all good. And then the next week you go out and do all the same bad stuff again. You know, and sorry if I'm picking on the Catholic religion, but that's what it is. So that's not the kind of devotion that God wants. He wants sincerity. He wants love, right? He gives love. He wants love. He gives you attention. He wants attention. It's a mutual relationship, you know. So without Jesus' sacrifice, there is no other substitute. Well, you know, it seems like you like reading. Read a book called The Great Controversy. Okay? Now don't go looking up what it is or people's opinions on it, because you're going to hear all kinds of stuff, false stuff about it. So, I always tell people, look, just read something for yourself. Don't worry about the criticism. You know, read something for yourself, digest the information, and then you make a choice on whether you want to accept that information or not. So, since you like reading, read the book called The Great Controversy. And it starts out from just after Christ left the earth to go back to heaven, and then it rolls through history all the way up until the very end of time. Okay? So if you want to know how the world is going to end, read The Great Controversy. And this is the funny thing, the Bible is right there for everybody to read. It tells us how the end is going to happen. The Great Controversy is not the Bible, but it is an inspired book. And when you read it, you'll see that. Okay? So, she, and it's written by a woman. So if you respect women, like you just said you did, The Great Controversy was written by a woman. So, a very devoted woman, a very Christian woman. So, again, read that book, and then you tell me what you think of it. I guarantee you, once you start reading it, you won't want to put it down. You know? And then if you like what you read in The Great Controversy, then I have some other things that I could suggest to you to check out. You know, which talk about more relevant stuff to us today, you know. But this is what a lot of people are they're missing. And you're right. The world's every time, every minute that goes by is a minute that we get closer to the end. And the Bible said the things that happen in the end times will be rapid ones. Things will happen quicker and quicker. And we're seeing that today, right? I mean, look at social media. Phew. Talk about moving information quickly. Ooh. This is an angry one. Oh, got me. I got stuck. I got stuck on the ground there. I couldn't get up. You mean a nice day to get eaten, Herky? I just became dinner because I'm not paying attention really. I'm too busy talking. I hear you. Wait until I come back though. Can you buy in stacks? No, I guess you can't. Well, I actually have money. Hopefully the game won't crash. So I guess you guys still can't connect? Or is somebody on here? No, nobody's on here. I might have to restart like the whole game itself. So I think if I do this, that should work. We good? That didn't crash, yay. But I got the big guns. Well, the Bible predicted, one thing that it predicted was the moon will turn to blood and the sun will refuse to shine for a day. So that already happened in the early 1800s. It's called the Great Dark Day or something like that. Now scientists are trying to like say it was a volcano or something, or some kind of a forest fire in Canada or something. Like, they're so dumb. They always try to justify everything with, you know, natural events. But from what I understand, this was witnessed throughout the whole planet. So, and the sun turning like to like a blood red. No, it could have been some kind of super eclipse. I mean, it could have been like a, who knows, a big object that moved over the sun's light. You know, you never know. I mean, just because, I mean, we had telescopes back then, and you would think that somebody would have saw something like that, but, you know, we don't have any record of anything like that. You can get the Great Controversy online. You can read it online for free. Go to the, here, I'll put a link here. Let me see if I can find it. So you have to read it from the, you know, don't skip. Go from chapter 1, you know, go 1, 2, 3. Don't like skip around because it's going through like a specific history through time, like the history from, like I said, when Jesus left his disciples to go back up to heaven, the heavenly temple, to be our high priest from that point onward till the very end of time. And it is written in a little bit of older language, so there might be some words that you might have to look up. Oh, it's not showing the whole link. Let me see if it's... Oh, it still works. Okay. There's another game that somebody's making. I don't know if you guys saw it on Steam or not. It's supposedly a dinosaur hunting game or something. It's only single player though, so I don't really know, you know, how good it's going to be. Oh, here I am. Where am I going here? I think my body's over here. Yep. I'll just link another, I'll link another thing to you too, a video series. This is also a good one. It was done in 2004, and this professor is spot on with everything that's going on today. Like he already foresaw all this 16 years ago. I mean, I already kind of knew it too from reading the Bible and the Great Controversy, but he puts it into like a current events kind of perspective. You know, he goes from like way back in history, moves forward, you know, of how things have been developing in the world, you know, and how we're getting to where we're going today. And then he talks about like secret societies, he talks about the Dark Ages, he talks about the, you know, all the empires from the past, he talks about the Revelation, Daniel, he talks about current event like news that you would never hear from the media, you know, in the past. It's pretty good. A lot of information. I'll link the English version. And again, you have to start from the first episode and move through to, you know, the 36th episode. You can't, I don't recommend skipping, because it all ties into each other. Yeah, I sent you the link already. Miracle. Do you see the link up there? Just click on the link. I already gave you a link straight to the book. And you can read it there for free. Just again, start from chapter 1. Or even the preface. Just start from the preface and go all the way to the end. Don't skip through the chapters, because you're going to get a little confused, because again, it kind of goes into like a, you know, an order through history. And there'll be things in there that you'll never get taught in school. Never. In fact, you'll probably be criticized if you bring any of it up. I mean, I heard in Europe you can't even criticize the Catholic Church anymore. Because it'll be considered like a hate speech or something stupid. But that's where we are now. Boom. Brain shot. That's for eating me. Let me get my stuff. I wouldn't doubt it. They probably do. I mean, the priests drink it. They think that the wine is like, represents the blood of Christ, or that it actually turns into the blood of Christ. I'm like going, well, yeah, if you keep getting people drunk, they're going to believe that. And if the kids are getting tipsy-turvy, they're going to believe it too. Whoa, yeah, wow, I'm having a spiritual awakening. Whoa. See, true religion is not manipulative. That's one thing that you keep in mind. True religion is not manipulative. True religion gives each person the freedom to make a choice based on the information they're given. There's no pressure. There's no canceling. There's no threaten. There's no telling you, don't go talk to those other groups, because if you do, you'll go to hell. Like, that's what my wife told me. Her priest used to tell their congregation. If you go to any of those Protestant religions, you're going to be going to hell, or something like that. That ain't right. Now, it's okay to say be careful who you talk to. You know, make sure you know the Bible, if that's what you're trying to seek. So you're not deceived. And trust me, I'm the worst example of a Christian. But hey, like I said, truth is truth. I can't deny the truth. I'm not going to deny it, you know, whether I follow it or not. And I'm not saying that I don't want to follow it, I'm just saying. Some people act all holy-roly, you know. I'm not like that. I tell people I have struggles. I don't always do the right thing. I want to. But I'm not going to lie to myself and say, hey, I'm a great Christian. Well, that's frowned upon now. Very frowned upon. That's covered, I think, in the Great Controversy. I think that's also talked about. What a lot of people don't understand, and forgive me, I'm not trying to be offensive here. And I'm not talking about the people, you know, the people in the churches. The Catholic Church and a lot of these, what you call non-denominational churches, and some Protestant churches, have been kind of taken over by, well, the Catholic Church has always been a totalitarian entity, okay? They never were not a totalitarian entity, okay? But what happened is they lost their power, okay? What? Yes? I guess. I want you to be quiet, though. They lost their power when Napoleon took the Pope and put him in jail. And then, you know, that is the deadly wound that Revelation talks about. When it says the beast will receive a deadly wound, but then later on it will be healed, that wound. So when Napoleon took the Pope prisoner and the Pope died in prison, that was the deadly wound of the Catholic Church. That was like where they lost pretty much their domination in Europe. But then Mussolini in 1939, I believe, reinstated the Vatican. So that's when the deadly wound was healed. So then the papacy started getting their power back again. They started going around the world, you know, talking about this and that. In fact, again, this is something else that people don't know, is that the Catholic Church kind of promoted what Hitler was doing. There was cardinals that were backing up Hitler, saying what he was about to do was okay. They agreed with it. So, yeah, didn't I say please don't talk, though? I understand, because I can't really hear you. That's something you will never hear from in school. In fact, well, anyway, I'll let you dig into your own information. Now, that doesn't mean that Christianity is bad. Yeah, you can play with that. I would argue that, shut the door, please. I would personally argue that Catholicism is not really Christianity. Okay, Catholicism is its own religion with Christianity mixed in it, right? So the original church from the apostles was pure, right? And then Constantine came into the picture and was supposedly converted because he had a dream that Mary appeared to him or something weird like that. And he then became a Christian. But he was still a pagan. Okay, he didn't give up his pagan worship. Okay, he just kind of adopted Christianity into his, you know, religion. And that was okay back then. A lot of the pagan religions kind of were not pure. They were mixed, they were mixed with other pagan religions. Because they didn't believe in just one God, right? They believed in many gods. So if somebody came in and said, hey, you're ignoring this God, and you're going to make them angry for doing so, they might have a little gathering and discuss it and say, okay, we have to acknowledge this God because we don't want to piss any of them off. So well, read The Great Controversy. In fact, you could probably sit down and read it in one day, like if you didn't have anything to do, if you wanted just a rainy day or something. And I guarantee you won't stop once you start reading it. Except for maybe to look up some words. Because sometimes there may be words that you may not know what they mean because it's like an older English kind of word. But outside of that, it should be pretty understandable. Again, it's just kind of rolling through history, so it's not... That's all, Jay. I can't... You guys already took my other stuff. I'm not going to keep giving you my stuff to break. I can't get those anymore. I can't buy them anymore. They don't sell them anymore. Come on, where's all the wrecks? So I take it nobody can get on the server? Well, again, if you read The Great Controversy and you watch that other series that I linked, Total Onslaught, because I put 2 links in there. The Great Controversy, like I said, will go through history from when Christ went to heaven to the very end of time. So you'll know exactly how the world ends. Right? Walter Weith takes that and expands it even further to like a greater detail. Like he digs into everything the Great Controversy says and brings all the evidence forward, right? To prove that the Great Controversy was an accurate book and that there was things going on behind the scenes that people never knew about that shaped history. And it's history that everybody needs to know. Because it's why we're in the predicament we're in today. With the climate change, doomsday, with all this, like, all of a sudden communism is good. Like, really? Like, who accepts communism as good? I mean, it's not good. Socialism isn't good. To force people to pay 50-60% of your income to the government, that's okay. I don't even know how people even accepted that. And that's for the rest of your life and every generation after that, because once you implement something like that, it's very difficult to get it removed. Very difficult. All right, Miracle, take care. So, can no one get on? Is it still not The server's still not accessible? No one told, I didn't see any message. Where's all the Rexies? Ooh, oh, there it is. I can restart the game if you guys want to come on. I'll like totally shut down the game and restart it. Now it's very likely I'm gonna see a Rex over here. I'll head over here towards Trihorn. Here's a Rex. Right there. Does anyone know where to buy the Hunter Primal anymore? Somebody said there was a German site. Well, I guess it's coming now. That might be a different one. Let me see if I could see it. There it is. Are you kidding? That got our attention. Here she comes. She might get me. I figured she was hurt. Or he. Didn't really look at the thing. It looks like it is a she. Female. 9 shots, huh? On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll try to run the server from my other computer. My son was using my computer, so that's why I'm not running the server on that one. So I'm running the server on the computer that I'm playing right now. And when I do that, sometimes I don't know, it either allows people to join or it doesn't. It's like hit or miss. So it was not my intention to block anyone out. But if anyone wants to join, I will be happy to restart the game. Although I don't have all day to play. I was going to get off at like 5:30. Because when I run the server on the other computer, if I can join it, then I know it's probably working for everyone else. Because I have the same problem. Like if I'm running the server, sometimes I can't connect. You know, so then I have to restart the game, you know, and then run it again until it works. You know, so I understand. 100%. I'll see if I can get another Rex or two before I get off. I hear something. Is that a Utah? I had to step out for a second. There you go. Really? Freaking trike. Gotta mess up my whole thing. Now they've ruined my whole thing here. I was gonna try to kill him. That was no fun, was it? Trike. This guy don't want to die either, huh? I wonder if you can trap T-Rex in the water. Like, you know, sometimes they got the big, you know, holes in the water, and you get, you end up getting stuck in them. I wonder if you can do that with the Rex. It's a T-Rex. Where's that body? Oh, way back there. I passed it. I ain't going back for that now. It is money lost, but probably not a good idea for me to be making noise. Come closer. Come closer. They gotta make me run. I was shooting him a lot so he can get close. I end up having to oh, what time is it, Herky? Bedtime? You have a good rest. Sweet dreams. Thanks for coming by. I'll make sure the server is open next time. I just figured it would be okay since the last few times people were able to join. But you know, it's the Hunter Primal. You never know. There's got to be a Rex over here. Don't hear anything yet. I think I heard something. Think I heard something. There you go. There it is. There it is. Right there. That could be the rare. Looks a little odd on the top. Walked out of sight. Well, that should get some attention. It could be the rare Rex, because a lot of times it'll run away. And these Utah right here. This gun delays. guns. So now that Rex is going to make me track it. Did I get that bird? Did I harvest that other bird? Yeah, where was that? Where did I kill that thing? I don't remember where I shot that bird. Anyway. Now I have to go look for that Rex. Don't come over here. Not a good idea, Trike. Really? You guys want to get in on this? Best to stay away. Oh, there it is. That's the rare. 65 to 68. Otherwise, that's a heavyweight, but that's probably the rare. That's why it ran away. That's why it ran away. Come on. Okay, let's track this thing. Where did she go? She's going this way. She probably ran. It'll probably say fleeing at some point. Yep. I hear it. I thought it looked odd. Yep, that looks like it's the rare. Haha! It's either the rare or the heavyweight, but 6,800, that usually doesn't mean it's the... Let me try to see if I got enough bow and arrows. They have 14. Jeez. Try to take it out with just bow and arrow. Now you gotta be careful with these guys because they will frenzy like the queen. Oh, what happened to my rocks? There she blows. Let me put on my binoculars so you can get a good look at her. Yep, there she is. Hey there, pretty mama. How you doing? Why isn't the screen shut? Whoa. So you gotta be careful. They really made her aggressive after that queen update. might get me. Especially if she frenzies. I don't know if this is going to be a good spot here. That's probably the better spot. There's a good 3 trees over here. That might be good. Although that's a long way for me to run. Never can't shoot between there. Hey, she's gonna die soon. One more good hit and I think she's gone. Down for the count. Why don't the Steam overlay work? There it is. I didn't get the heavyweight. 222. I had too many shots. I didn't get the score. When did I hit it in the head? I don't remember that. It's gonna be hard for me to pick her up now. There it is. Heavyweight. Well, I like to try to get the high score, but I wasn't getting good shots on it. But it's nice we've seen the heavyweight, right? That was the rare T-Rex. And I think that's probably a good way to end off the stream with the rare T-Rex. It's a shame no one else was on. Could have each got a gland, right? So I think I'll call it a night. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and all that good stuff. Have a fun and safe weekend. Peace. Bye.